Hey guys, welcome back to Prehistoric Life Podcast, and today we're diving in with another battle for the tournament. Now this one, as you might have seen, will either show the might of the dinosaurs or the might of the mammals. Now what do I mean by that? So today we have Styracosaurus here, which I like to call the knight of the dinosaurs because it has the lance, the spear, the sword, and the shield. I'm just saying. Versus the Siberian unicorn itself. We have Styracosaurus versus Coelodonta. Now, I actually am very surprised, but I do not have any Styracosaurus models or anything. I actually found myself very kind of disappointed because I love Styracosaurus. Styracosaurus is personally is probably one of my, if not my favorite ceratopsian. And I feel like it doesn't get enough love. But that being said, we shall dive into this episode by first analyzing these amazing creatures. Starting with Styracosaurus. These, by the way, I want you to know that these battles might be shorter episodes. There's just supposed to be like end of the week fun little things, not full analysis about these creatures. They're supposed to be just the minor details. If that makes sense to any of y'all. So in short, it's not the full might of these amazing creatures, and I do suggest going back and listening to what I had to say about these amazing creatures themselves. And I will do another episode on Styracosaurus, trust me, and I will get something Styracosaurus to show off and use because that is necessary. All right. So first we're going to dive in with some statistics. So Styracosaurus is standing at a proud 9.8-ish, 9 to 10-ish feet tall, and a very proud 19. I need to update that because that is actually far off. It's 19, not 17 feet long and weighing at a hefty 3 tons. Now, of course, you got the spikes on the back of the head, which might not be useful in this fight because I don't expect any creatures to be jumping on this thing's back. I say creatures, but I am specifically referring to Coelodonta. I don't expect Coelodonta to do a lot of jumping on this thing's back. And in all actuality, I shouldn't have done Coelodonta, and I should have done Elasmotherium, the single horners. And called this like the single horn duel or something. But I can do that a different day. But yeah, Elasmotherium will do. Or not Elasmotherium, Coelodonta will do. And I feel like it is also underrepresented. So this thing is actually just Styracosaurus versus Fuzzy Rhino. But that's a different discussion for a different day. But yeah, it's got very powerful back legs. Anything jaw. I don't think bite force will come into this a lot because neither of them really have limbs that will be accessible. Well, bite force of Styracosaurus. Let's just assume something fun comes out. So their top speed can be 21 to 20 miles per hour in a bite force of 2,980. So they can break bone. They will bite clean through your forearm. And they can run pretty darn fast. What is a rhino's top speed? Ooh, Coelodonta is faster. I think Styracosaurus top speed. So here's the thing. Styracosaurus's top speed, it might have a very impressive bite force, and I'm going to assume rhinos don't have that impressive of a bite force, but also I don't really know. Here, we'll zoom in on this. So the top speed is 21 to 20-ish miles per hour in about a bite force of 2,980. So it can bite through solid bone, which is very impressive. Don't get me wrong. That is impressive upon many levels. But all right, so Coelodonta is you know what? Largest rhino alive. The white rhino. So we'll look at the white rhino statistics. It's got 31 miles per hour. It's the slowest rhino. Okay. But that's still 10 miles per hour faster than Styracosaurus. So Styracosaurus is slower, but it also has the crest on the back of its head that could be used for defense. For defensive purposes. Coelodonta horn length. So which one has a longer horn? All right. So Coelodonta's horn is 3.3 to 4.4 feet long. Just for that information, its horn is that long. Also, what is the bite force of a rhino? I know that's random, and I'm going back to bite force. Bite force of rhino. Okay, 1,000 psi. So they can't even like break bone. All right, so Styracosaurus does technically have an advantage on that. It does have the more powerful bite force. Styracosaurus. I think I just horribly misspelled that. Horn length. 20 to 22 inches. Ooh, I think Coelodonta has a longer horn. Because that's not even 2 feet. But Coelodonta's was 3.3 to 4.4 feet. Ooh. Although, you know what? I'll give it a solid 3 feet because some scientists they say that it is a casing and it could be double it. So I'll give it a solid 2.5 to 3 feet just to not because I like Styracosaurus and I'm trying to push something in its favor, but just in all actuality. I mean, that's probably what is likely to happen. So Coelodonta, let's look at that thing's weight and stuff and all that statistics. I do not have a little model drawn, so I kind of just been using this thing. It's about 6.56 feet tall, 1.5 to 3 tons, and about 18 feet long. All right. So Styracosaurus is longer and taller and on average weighs more. So it is larger. Styracosaurus has the height, weight, and length. It has the bite force advantage. Coelodonta has the speed and the horn size advantage. Give me one moment. So they both have their advantages. I'm gonna just put this up here. Ooh, please don't fall. So I'm gonna put these up. So that's the Coelodonta skull. You see it has double horns. So it also has that advantage. It has more horns. Styracosaurus has one large horn, and it is smaller than Coelodonta's horn. But that little beak at the front of its mouth can cause some damage if it can scrape at the face of Coelodonta, because Coelodonta's face is fairly exposed. And the thing about Styracosaurus that gives it a real good advantage, and it's going to sound goofy, but it's going to also could possibly come into play. But look at the horn placement. It's on its nose, while Coelodonta's is under one of them. It's under the eye. Ooh, please don't fall. I don't want this thing to break again. But that could very well come into play on either Or's team. Also, Styracosaurus does have the frill that could help with defense in direct piercing, and these I don't think those will come in good play with Coelodonta, because I'm not expecting Coelodonta to do a lot of jumping and all that. In all actuality, I'm just expecting that they will go head to head, kind of like two rhinos or two ceratopsians would. But let's go over those advantages again. So our boy, the Styracosaurus, has the advantage of height, length, weight, bite force. It has a crest, or the what do you call it? The frill. Coelodonta has a longer horn and it's faster. So sorry, Coelodonta, you might not have everything going for you, buddy. But let's dive into this battle. All right. Hang on. So, Coelodonta and Styracosaurus meet face to face. Both. Jesus, I can't stop coughing. Hang. So, Coelodonta and Styracosaurus meet face to face in a field. Styracosaurus snorts and waves its frill and horn, charging its leg, challenging Coelodonta for the land. Coelodonta doesn't back down, even though Styracosaurus towers over Coelodonta. Coelodonta snorts, waving its horns in equal challenge. They both charge in at each other. Coelodonta charging in, as Styracosaurus also charges in. Their heads collide. Whack! And the small horn of Coelodonta actually cuts. So the big horn slides right down the side of the face, slashing a bit of the eye, well, around the eye, and hitting the frill, while the small horn collides with its forehead, barely putting a dent. While the big horn of pretty small horn of Styracosaurus barely makes contact with Coelodonta. Coelodonta is able to back away quick, sidestep, and knock Styracosaurus behind the frill, knocking its head. Styracosaurus as quick as it can, turns, and Coelodonta is already on the other side. But Styracosaurus is able to move its head and block its neck with its frill as Coelodonta slams its horn, only hitting the frill, causing a minor fracture. Styracosaurus is able to get in there and bite a small chunk out of the face of Coelodonta, causing a bit of damage. As Styracosaurus snorts and snarls, Coelodonta is actually faced with a dilemma of fighting this massive creature. Coelodonta charges in and Styracosaurus charges in. Styracosaurus and Coelodonta collide again, but this time Styracosaurus is able to push Coelodonta back, using its weight to push back Coelodonta. And then Styracosaurus, with using all 3 tons of its body, able to motion itself, get to the side of Coelodonta's face, and try to buck it over. And it takes its the side of its frill and its horn in its face and knocks Coelodonta's face. Whack! As it then charges in, scraping down the shoulder with its horn. Coelodonta taking its horn and plunging it into the side of Styracosaurus. Styracosaurus screams out as it then takes its horn and sticks it in the side of Coelodonta. Coelodonta pulling its horn out, snorting, and then slamming its face into the side of Styracosaurus, making it stumble to the side a little bit. Styracosaurus then sidesteps and charges and kind of shoulder bucks Coelodonta, knocking it over, overpowering it with its sheer size. As Styracosaurus quickly lowers its head and snorts as it charges in towards Coelodonta's stomach. Coelodonta is able to barely get up and recover as it's barely able to make it away. And Styracosaurus actually nicks the butt right here of Coelodonta, hurting its back leg as it charges through and actually knocks it and spins it. Coelodonta is turning around, but Styracosaurus is already charging again, and it slams face first. Coelodonta isn't able to make it all the way in time, since it's turned pretty much all the way around, and it's starting to turn. It slams right into the neck, going in and into the shoulder with its horn. Coelodonta cries out as Styracosaurus rips its horn out of Coelodonta. Styracosaurus snarls and snorts as Coelodonta falls down to one leg, barely able to get up as its fur gets covered in blood and gets stained with its own blood. It's barely able to stand as it charges into Styracosaurus. Styracosaurus charges in. Their heads slam together once more, and Styracosaurus is able to push back Coelodonta, overpowering it with its sheer muscle and size, as it then bucks Coelodonta off to the side again, knocking it over. Styracosaurus is able to get its head, as Coelodonta is starting to get up, Styracosaurus gets its head up under Coelodonta on one side. It starts to kind of lift it as best it can and flips it to the side once more, still right on top of Coelodonta, towering over. It takes its horn and drives it into the chest of Coelodonta, puncturing a lung. Coelodonta cries out in pain as it coughs up blood. And Styracosaurus one more time pulls its horn out and drives it back into Coelodonta, stabbing it again and again in the stomach and chest as Coelodonta lays there, bleeding out. Styracosaurus finally pulling its horn out, covered in the blood of Coelodonta. It stumbles off. Not completely fine, but it made it through. So, I'm giving the edge to Styracosaurus. It's larger. It's got more weight to throw around. It's got the frill. It's got a bite force stronger. Not that bite force actually played a part other than like taking a chunk out of Coelodonta's face a little bit. And y'all heard that I gave Coelodonta a couple good gouges to the side of Styracosaurus. I'm not saying Styracosaurus is leaving this fine. Don't get me wrong. Styracosaurus is taking a beating from this. But those horns, it gets caught on that frill. It's not doing anything. Styracosaurus or Coelodonta doesn't have that. If Coelodonta gets hit, it's going into it. Styracosaurus is taking the edge just because it's got that shield and that spear. So I'm giving the win to Styracosaurus. So, yeah, Styracosaurus won. Dang, we got another ceratopsian. I'm choosing dinosaurs over mammals. Not that mammals aren't cool. But what's going on? If you want to possibly see a Styracosaurus, I got no idea if you'll see him on any of the trips. Go check out Dinosaur Trips. He takes you on museum tours. He takes you on fossil digs. He takes you out and sees behind the scenes. I suggest the Red Rocks and Raptors because that's the one that a good buddy of mine, Dr. Brian Curtis, the leader of Fossil Crate, also gives us these amazing scaled skulls. Here. Sorry, Apatosaurus. I didn't mean to knock you around like that. So I would like to also just give a shout out to Dr. Brian Curtis for making these amazing scaled skulls. So yeah, we got Majungasaurus, Apatosaurus, and 2 Coelodontas. You can't really see them well back there, but they're back there. There you go. There's Majungasaurus, Apatosaurus, and the Coelodontas, the Coelodonta twins. But yeah, so I'd like to give a shout out to him for those because those are amazing, along with these 2 amazing Velociraptor claws and Triceratops tooth, and of course my unrooted Tyrannosaurus Rex tooth right here. That's just what I have over here. I got other stuff in drawers and things everywhere. I got a Spinosaurus scaled skull over there that I should bring over here just to have all my scaled skulls over here. But yeah, I'd love to give a major shout out to them for making those. But yeah, he leads one of those. It may have not left, but there are other ones, and there will be another one next year, as far as I'm aware. And if you want to see their Instagram, there it is. Go check it out. Maybe if it'll pop up. There we go. But yeah, go check out their Instagram, and while you're doing that, go check me out on Instagram. Wherever I'm at. There I am. As you can see, we got some pretty cool things coming up. At the time of this, we got we have Matt and Max and Ruby. Only if her name was Ruby. I missed opportunity there. I'm kidding. I'll pester them about that another day. But yeah, go check that out. That should already be out by the time this comes out. So I guess late timing, but there's other amazing interviews and things coming out. And actually, I probably shouldn't have shown y'all that Majungasaurus because you're not supposed to know about that yet. Dang. Oh, well. Sneak peek if you're watching it this far. If you want to see all my content a little bit earlier, go check out my YouTube page. I try to post everything like 2-ish days earlier. Go check that out. And if you want all of that in one place, of course, you can go check out my website, prehistoriclifepodcast.com. I sincerely suggest you go check that out. As you can see, last week we had Tucson and the Alaskan Showdown. So go check those out. But again, I'm your host, Eric Crawford, signing off. This has been Prehistoric Life Podcast. Remember, keep it prehistoric. Bye.